tonight on 16 by 9.
It's a chemical known as a potential carcinogen, and it could be in your clothing.
It was really thick and very red. You can't help but, touch it because it's so itchy.
A gang war is gripping BC's Lower Mainland. Tonight, an inside look at the one-of-a-kind police task force that's fighting back.
Curfew check, please. Can you open the door? I can't see you through there.
We're not calling you a bad guy, but if we keep kicking you out, maybe there's a reason.
An exclusive tour of one of the most expensive pieces of property in the country and why this multi-million-dollar real estate market is surviving the recession. I see this beautiful walnut den here.
$130,000.
Oh my gosh.
That's all coming up on 16 by 9.
Please don't touch the camera. That's assault. Talk to us about this.
I don't need to talk to you.
Can you have you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Chemical clothing in 3, 2.
Good evening and welcome to 16 by 9, The Bigger Picture. I'm Mary Garofalo. Well, you've heard of toxic food, toxic toys, but what about toxic clothing? Have you ever wondered what makes those clothes stain and wrinkle-free? Well, that's a 16 by 9 investigation, and our Allison Vushnick with the exclusive details.
Hot and seductive lingerie. Women buy it to feel attractive and sexy, but some women say after wearing it, they feel anything but. Rashes, scarring. Just go online and read for yourself. Complaints and complaints from women who believe their Victoria's Secret bras are making them sick. One woman writes, "I have an itchy red bumpy rash all over my breasts." Another, "It was so bad the rash covered both my breasts with hive-like welts and began to scab due to itching."
Yeah, this is the dress that I wore in that Christmas party.
And it's not just Victoria's Secret. Mari Carr bought a new dress to wear to her husband's Christmas party. She needed to buy a strapless bra, so she went where she always shops, to La Senza.
It was a fun night though, but the next morning wasn't very fun.
The next day after the party, she says she noticed a problem, a rash, in the exact spot where the bra was.
It was really thick and very red. And in fact, I kept feeling it because it was really itchy. You can't help but, touch it because it's so itchy.
And it didn't go away. Now she says she has permanent scarring.
I think it's a chemical because I had that reaction from just wearing it for one time.
So what could possibly be in the bras, and could it have caused the women's reactions? Victoria's Secret and La Senza are both owned by the same parent company, Limited Brands. Some of their bras are manufactured in China. Now consumers are taking their concerns to court. Class action lawsuits have been filed in the United States against Victoria's Secret and here in Canada against La Senza. Clint Dawkin launched the lawsuit here. Mari Carr is his client. They're not sure what caused her reaction.
We're assuming that it's some sort of an irritant to have caused the problem. Certainly after hearing her story and hearing from others, it's our feeling that this is a bigger problem than originally thought.
On this website of a U.S. law firm that is representing some of the women suing Victoria's Secret over 2 different types of bras, they say the problem could be formaldehyde. That a lab test of Victoria's Secret bras, like the ones worn by the plaintiff, showed the presence of formaldehyde in the fabric. You may remember formaldehyde, as in the fluid frogs were in your high school science class. The World Health Organization says it's a potential carcinogen. In textiles, it's used to keep clothing wrinkle-free and stain-resistant. Victoria's Secret says there is no secret. They don't use formaldehyde in their bras. They issued this statement to 16 by 9. We have strict quality controls around our products, and we do not use formaldehyde in our bras. Customer safety and satisfaction are always our primary concerns. Victoria's Secret says its own lab testing showed the bras are formaldehyde-free. They also say a garment can absorb formaldehyde from other sources, like cigarette smoke and cosmetics. The case has not gone to court yet. And La Senza told 16 by 9, "We take very seriously any issues our customers may have with our products. Our bras are made under the highest quality control standards, and we are confident that they are safe." La Senza has not been served with a lawsuit yet. But what about formaldehyde in clothing in general? The vast majority of clothing is imported. When you shop now, how do you know what it's in or not in? What are the rules in Canada? Well, what 16 by 9 uncovered may surprise you.
Yeah, I've seen a number of people who have come in. We do a lot of testing.
As a specialist, dermatologist Dr. Joel DeKoven says he has seen his share of reactions from formaldehyde.
Most of the patients will not have any idea that it could be their clothing. In fact, most physicians don't know that formaldehyde can cause allergic reactions in clothing.
Manufacturers use formaldehyde to keep clothing wrinkle-free and stain-resistant. In Canada, there are no specific rules or levels of acceptable formaldehyde.
A number of different clothing items which would have wrinkle-free properties would have formaldehyde textile resins because there's no regulation, so why not put it in?
Some manufacturers put it in and some don't. And experts say not everyone will react to formaldehyde in clothing, but for those who do.
Usually they're going to need treatment because the patient's going to be quite uncomfortable with itch.
We wanted to see for ourselves if Canadian clothing had formaldehyde in it. We purchased clothing from Canadian retailers and brought them to Philadelphia University's Institute for Textile and Apparel Product Safety. Here, they test for formaldehyde.
It has now been recognized as a carcinogen.
David Brookstein runs the center. After the toxic toy scare, he decided it was time to see what's in our clothing.
No one was significantly looking at formaldehyde in fabric.
Scientist Herb Barnt examined our samples, 7 garments in all.
Let's see what we have. The most likely suspects are those that have some kind of a wrinkle-free finish.
Our samples were numbered 1 to 7, then weighed. Then this machine, called a formaldemeter, saturates the fabric with water, then extracts what's in it.
Number 6 is a likely candidate. Number 7 has some in it too.
Then after a heating and waiting period,
the color change indicates the presence of formaldehyde.
2 of our samples had formaldehyde. That's 2 out of 7.
We've consistently found 1 or 2 in 10 items that have what we would consider levels of concern with formaldehyde. Most of the time, if we find formaldehyde, it's in garments that have a permanent press finish.
And it's not just adult clothing.
They're children's pants, and it's formaldehyde.
In Europe and Japan, where there are strict regulations, one of our samples, these men's pants, were close to 20% above what's acceptable there.
It's at a point where it might irritate somebody, especially if they had sensitive skin.
Canada, the United States, are any regulations being broken? No. But we do know there's a connection between formaldehyde and these various diseases and illnesses.
We were also told to protect yourself and your family. Always wash new clothes before you wear them. So we asked Health Canada why consumers are not told that their clothing could have formaldehyde in it. They said no one was available for an on-camera interview. The Industry Association has said that if Health Canada, the regulator, sets guidelines, they'll meet them.
Teach mommy how to make the windmill now?
So that leaves consumers like Mari Carr on their own.
I was thinking it's really important for me to share my story so people will be more aware about the stuff that's been going on, like especially like putting chemicals on clothing, which is really, really scary.
Next on 16 by 9.
It's hard to tell nowadays who's a gang member and who's not a gang member.
When they see the reality around them and they're seeing their friends being shot and stabbed or beaten, well, it affects a lot of people.
With these guys being on the road, they can actually let us know who's who.
If you have a story for 16 by 9, call our tip line